Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Ahmed from TOEFL Secrets channel. If you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe and turn the notification bell on so you may get more TOEFL videos. In this video, I want to show how to solve the reading section questions so you may have good way of solving them. This is 6th edition from ETS TOEFL. If you guys want to download this book for free, you may find the link to download this book in our Telegram channel. You may find the link to our Telegram channel in the first comment or in the description box below this video. Now, we're gonna move to the reading section. Okay guys, so the first step is to read the title, The Origins of Citations. You probably don't know what citations are. Actually, the way of understanding this word you may find by reading the first two sentences from the paragraph. So we're going to read the first and the second sentences. It should be obvious that cetaceans, whales, porpoises, and dolphins are mammals. So according to what I read from the context, I had a small idea that cetaceans could be creatures in the sea or in oceans, right? Now we move to the second sentence. They breathe through lungs, not through gills, and give birth to live young. Their streamlined bodies, the absence of hind legs, and the presence of a fluke and blowhole cannot disguise their affinities with land-dwelling mammals. Alright, actually, there were some new words to me. I did not understood them, but according to what I read here, the author is trying to make a comparison between creatures in the ocean with land-dwelling mammals. Okay, that's enough. We had a small idea about the paragraph. We also tried to understand what the meaning of cetaceans. Now we move to the first question. Which of the following can be inferred from paragraph 1 about early sea otters? Okay, the first step to solve the question is to define or to determine the type of the question. This question is an inference question. How do I know? By this word, inferred. And the second, determine the keywords. Here the keywords are sea otters only. We don't have other keywords. We have only one. So now you guys can pause the video and try to solve this question. Then we're gonna solve it together. Okay, after reading the question, we now go to the paragraph and find the keywords. Sea otters. See guys, I'm not reading anything. I am not reading at all. I'm only trying to do skimming and scanning. I'm looking for the keyword. Sea otters. C and O-T-E-R-S. Now we are going to read from the beginning of the sentence. However, unlike the cases of sea otters and pine bed seals, sea lions, and walruses, whose limbs are functional both on land and at sea, it is not easy to envision what the first whales looked like. Extinct but already fully marine cetaceans are known from the fossil record. Okay? Which of the following can be inferred from paragraph 1 about early sea otters? First of all, we need to understand what the meaning of inference question. Inference means to conclude something, to try to think until you find the answer, because the answer is not stated explicitly in the passage. We need to use a key sentence to reach to the answer. Now we read the multiple choices. It is not difficult to imagine what they looked like. There were great numbers of them. They lived in the sea only. They did not leave many fossil remains. The third step of solving this question, we need to cancel out the wrong choices. Like B, there were great numbers of them. Here the author didn't talk about the huge numbers, right? So we cancel B out. They lived in the sea. They also didn't talk about living in the sea, right? So C is cancelled out. We left with 2, A and D. They didn't leave many fossil remains. I don't think the author also talked about fossil remains. He talked about fossil record only. So let's think about A. It's not difficult to imagine what they looked like. Actually, we read something regarding imagination. See here, it is not easy to envision means it's difficult. Not easy means difficult. It's difficult to imagine what the first whales looked like. Here's our key sentence. What does that mean? It has another meaning. It actually means that it was easy to envision the other creatures. So now we read A. It is not difficult means it is easy. It is easy to imagine what they looked like. Now we're talking about the sea otters, which means they. So A is the correct answer. Now we move to question number 2. The word precious in the passage is closest in meaning to exact, scarce, valuable, initial. Pause the video and try to solve this question, then we're gonna solve it together. Okay guys, now we have 2 scenarios. The first is that we know this word, then we could solve this question easily. If you know this word, you only try to cancel the wrong answers and pick the right one. You don't need to go back to the text. You need to save your time. The second scenario is that you don't understand the answer. Then you may go to the paragraph and try to find the word. Try to read the sentence from the beginning and try to understand it so that you may reach to the meaning of this word from the context. Although limited to a skull, a Picastus fossil provides something details on the origins of cetaceans. Now, you need to think, it provides what? It provides something details on the origins of cetaceans. So what could that mean? Exact details, scarce details, valuable details, or initial details? Well, we're gonna cancel scarce because this is not a good choice. It's of course not a scarce details, not initial details, but it could be exact or valuable. So I could depend on my luck and choose maybe exact, maybe valuable. So the best way to solve the vocabulary questions is to build your academic vocabularies through reading articles, academic articles, not just any random or non-academic articles. So the right answer is valuable. I already know this word. Now we go to question 3. Picastus and modern cetaceans have similar. You may pause the video and solve it, then we're gonna solve it together. Alright, the keywords here are Picastus and modern cetaceans. We're gonna find the keywords in the passage. Modern cetaceans, Pakistan. Okay, we found the two words. We're gonna read from the beginning of the sentence. The fossil consists of complete skull of an archaeocete, an extinct group of ancestors of modern cetaceans. Although limited to a skull, Pakistan provides precious details on the origins of cetaceans. The skull is cetacean-like, but its jaw bones. Okay, the skull is cetacean-like, but its jaw bones lack the enlarged space that is filled with fat or oil and used for receiving underwater sound in modern whales. And here, Pakistan and modern cetaceans have similar. They have something in common. What is that thing? So from here we can see that they have a similar skull. So the right answer is skull shapes. Now we go to question number 4. The word "it" in the passage refers to Pakistan's fish, life, and ocean. Pause the video, try to solve the question, then we're gonna solve it together. Okay, we find "it" from here. We go back to the beginning of the sentence. It has been suggested that Pakistan fed on fish in shallow water and was not yet adapted for life in the ocean. It probably bred and gave birth on land. So what is the right answer? Pakistan, yeah, because we talked about Pakistan. Fed on fish, say they were eating fish in shallow water and then was not yet adapted for life in the open ocean. It probably bred, so fish is not a correct answer because fish was eating. Life is not a good answer because life cannot breed, ocean cannot breed, so Pakistan is the correct answer. Now we move to question number 5. The word exposed in the passage is closest in meaning to. As I talked about this question, we have two scenarios. If you already know the word, try to cancel out the wrong answers and pick the right one. If you don't know the word, you may go to the sentence and read them and try to understand the context so that you may understand the meaning or guess the meaning. Several skeletons of another early whale Basosaurus were found in sediments left by Tethys Sea and now exposed in the Sahara Desert. So if you don't understand the meaning, you may probably say, okay, this could be placed, right? Located, or it could be visible also. Because identified is not a correct answer, not explained. You may be confused between two words, but if you already know it, you will solve it as visible. So try to read as much as possible academic articles. Moving on to the question number 6. The hind legs of Basosaurus was a significant find because it showed that Basosaurus was. Try to pause the video and solve it, then we solve it together. The keywords here: hind leg, Basosaurus, maybe significant find as well. Now we skim for the keywords. Basosaurus. We have legs here, but we didn't find hind, but it could be. Okay, now we're gonna read from the beginning. Oh, here are the hind legs. Okay, so we read from the beginning. Many incomplete skeletons were found, but they included for the first time in an archaeosite a complete hind leg that features a foot with 3 tiny toes. Such legs would have been far too small to have supported the 50-foot long Basilsaurus. On land, Basilsaurus was undoubtedly a fully marine whale with possibly non-functional or vestigial hind legs. This is a detailed question, so the answer is stated explicitly. Hind legs was important because it showed that Basilsaurus was. We're gonna determine the answer right now. See here, such legs, which are the hind legs, would have been far too small to have supported a 50-foot long this animal, Basilsaurus, on land. So it means that these legs are not useful because it could not carry this creature on the land, and the author supported his point by saying that it was undoubtedly a fully marine whale, which means this type of creature is a creature in oceans only, not on land, with possibly non-functional vestigial hind legs, so they are useless. From this, we could determine the answer. A. Lived later in Ambulosatus? No. Lived at the same time? No, we didn't read something about these two things. Was able to swim well? We didn't read about swimming. Could not have walked on land? Yes, exactly. D is the correct answer. Now we move to question number 7. Why does the author use the word luckily in mentioning that the Ambulosatus natans fossils included hind legs? Before we answer this question, pause the video and try to answer it, then we will solve it together. Alright, the fossil luckily includes a good portion of the hind legs. The legs were strong and ended in long feet very much like those of a modern pinniped. The legs were certainly functional both on land and at sea. The whale retained a tail and lacked a fluke, the major means of locomotion in modern cetaceans. Okay. A. Fossil legs of early whales are rare find. We didn't read something about rare find, right? This one is cancelled out. The legs provided important information about evolution of cetaceans. Could be. C. The discovery allowed scientists to reconstruct a complete skeleton of the whale. D. Until that time, only the front legs of early whales had been discovered. Before we pick a choice, I'd like to let you know that this type of question is the purpose question, so the answer is not stated explicitly. You need to conclude, you need to come to a conclusion so that you can find the answer. So we didn't read something about scientists reconstructing a complete skeleton, did we? No, we did not. The author didn't even mention scientists, so this one is cancelled out. C and A are out. Now we have D. Until that time, only the front legs of early whales had been discovered. We didn't read also about front legs of early whales, right? So the answer could be B. The legs provided important information about the evolution of cetaceans. Let's go back and check. The fossil likely includes a good portion of the hind legs. The legs were strong. This is the attributes, the advantages. The legs were strong and ended in a long feet, very much like those in a modern pinniped. The legs were certainly functional both on land and at sea. The whale retained a tail and lacked a fluke. The major means of locomotion in modern cetaceans. So, after getting this fossil, I came to good results. I knew about some advantages like strong, ended in a long, very much like those. So, the answer B is closest to the right answer. The legs provided important information about the evolution of cetacean. Because here it says also, the whale retained a tail and lacked a fluke, which is something abnormal, right? The normal thing is that you see the whale has a fluke, right? This is the normal thing. But after getting this fossil, the scientists were able to realize that whales have developed, retained a tail and lacked a fluke. So B is the correct answer. 8. Which of the sentence below best expresses the essential information? In this question, you need to read the highlighted sentence 2 times or 3 times until you understand the sentence. Then you need to pick an answer. Multiple choices will have a paraphrased answer. We should choose the answer that is closest in meaning. But the answers miss important information or change the meaning. They are wrong. Don't pick them. Or even the choices that talk about small details and neglect important ones. Those are wrong. Pause the video and solve it, then we will solve it together. Okay, the structure of the backbone shows however the Amplocetus swam like modern whales by moving the rear portion of its body up and down, even though a fluke was missing. A. Even though Amplocetus swam by moving its body up and down, it did not have a backbone. No, this is not a good answer because it's actually refutes the sentence, because it says here the structure of the backbone shows. That means it has a backbone that shows something, prove something. But here it says did not have backbone. So this one is wrong. B. The backbone of Amplocetus, which allowed it to swim, provides evidence of its missing fluke. The choice is telling me that the backbone is helping the Amplocetus to swim and provide evidence of the missing fluke. Is that what the sentence telling me? Let's see. The structure of the backbone shows how. No, this is not correct, because it did not allow the Amplocetus to swim. It did not allow it. It's only showing something, proving something. So this one is wrong. See, although the Amplocetus had no fluke, its backbone structure shows that it swam like a modern whale. This one is correct. It does not have a fluke. Its backbone structure shows that it swam like modern whales. D. By moving the rear parts of the body up and down, modern whales swim in a different way from way Amplocetus swam. No, this one is wrong, so the correct answer is C. Now we move to question number 9. In question 9, we read this sentence. This is a question that has puzzled scientists for ages. According to the sentence, I could understand that this is a completion of something is missing. So this sentence came after a sentence before it, right? So that means there is a sentence before this sentence. And what kind of sentence was that? Actually, according to what I read, this is a question, so it means the previous sentence could have a question. Let's see now. Extant but already fully marine cetaceans are known from the fossil record. A. No, it's wrong. It's not A. How was the gap between the walking mammal and swimming whale bridged? B. So it could be B because we have a question here. Missing until recently were fossil clearly or intertransitional between the mammals and cetaceans. C. It could not be C because this is a completion. There was a sentence before it. So C is not correct. There's no sentence before it. Okay. Very exciting discovery have finally allowed scientists to reconstruct the most likely origins cetaceans. No, this is not a correct answer as well. So the correct answer is B. Now we're going to talk about the last question. This passage discusses fossils that help to explain the likely origins of cetaceans, whales, porpoises, and dolphins. Alright, now you guys pause the video and try to solve this question. Alright, before we solve this question, I'd like to give you 3 steps we could use to help us to come to the right answers. The first step, we could solve this question by understanding the topic that we read about when we solved the previous questions. The second step is to exclude the wrong answers. The third step is to read the last sentences from each paragraph if we have time. But if we don't, we only read the last sentence from the last paragraph. Alright, this is the last paragraph. We're going to read the last sentence. On the land where it probably bred and gave birth, Amplicetus may have moved around very much like a modern sea lion. It was undoubtedly a whale that linked life on land with life at sea. If you don't have much time, we should go and answer the question and exclude the wrong answers. Okay? But if we do have, we go to the paragraph before this one and try to read the last sentence. Basilsaurus was undoubtedly a fully marine whale with possibly non-functional or vestigial hind legs. It probably bred and gave birth on land. It has been suggested that Pecastus fed on fish, shallow water, and was not yet adapted for life in the open ocean. It probably bred and gave birth on land. The river that formed these deposits was actually not far from an ancient ocean known as Tethys Sea. Extinct but already fully marine cetaceans are known from the fossil record. How was the gap between a walking mammal and a swimming mammal bridged? Missing until recently were fossils clearly intermediate or transitional between land mammals and cetaceans. Now we go to solve the question. A. Recent discoveries of fossils have helped to show the link between land mammals and cetaceans. We read something about this, so A is correct. The discovery of Amplicetus natans provide evidence for a whale that lived both on land and at sea. We also read something about this, so A and B. C. The skeleton of Basilsaurus was found in what had been the Tethys Sea and area rich in fossil evidence. Well, we haven't read something about this, like rich area and fossil, right? So C is out. P. Pecastus is the oldest fossil whale yet to be found. We didn't read something about the oldest fossil that need to be found. So D is out. Fossils thought to be transitional forms between walking mammals and swimming whales were found. We also read something about this. Implositis hand legs were used propulsion in water. So I don't think this is a good answer. So A, B, and E. Let's check A, B, and E. Okay guys, thank you for watching. Before we end this video, I'd like to give you a piece of advice. It's not necessary to get full mark, but it is to get as high as you can. So if you guys like this video, try to share it with your friends, give it the thumbs up, and write a nice comment. And thanks for watching. See you in the next video.